I'm going to start with a big breath and sigh because this topic is very, very personal to me, and I'm definitely sharing from a very personal experience. I used to, in my younger years, I'm in my mid-40s now, so some 20 years ago or so, be an intensely athletic and energetic person. I just seem to have had that abundant amount of energy and was really capable of taking on a lot, and in fact was even thriving on that. And of course, over time, that started to change, partially because of that natural change of aging and a natural tendency to want to slow down, but also with some underlying chronic health conditions that started to show up for me. And I got pretty burned out at some point. I really did. And I had to take a much closer look at the ways in which my body communicates boundaries with me, or is telling me and is letting me know, no, this is enough. You know, we're hitting that limit, we're getting to that threshold of pushing and forcing ourselves into something that my body was not actually able or willing to do at that point. And it's a conversation that's also been showing up with a lot of students and a lot of clients, and it makes me aware of, wow, it's actually a lot of us that are struggling with some version of this. And I also see this as something that is this very strong programming, this very strong conditioning in our culture, right? We're in this culture that is all about productivity, being goal-oriented, being focused, being ambitious, being confident. There's not a lot of room for sitting back, pausing, slowing down. In fact, a lot of times when we do, we feel guilty. We feel that something is wrong with me, that I don't have this abundant amount of energy to just keep on going. And we're adding shame on top of it, feeling like something is wrong with me because everyone else is seemingly powering through so comfortably and easily. My sense is that, myself included, many of us have also gotten used to overriding the symptoms, quote unquote, or the ways in which our body would communicate with us when there is the need for rest or when there is the need for slowing down and pausing. I recently weaned myself off coffee, and I realized that coffee was one of those things that I would do to actually feel tired, right? Recognize this need for slowing down or resting, but instead of honoring that, I would drink a cup of coffee to sort of push myself further, to keep going. And I'm not saying that that's wrong to do, right? And we all find ourselves in situations where we don't have the luxury to slow down and stop because life simply demands us to show up. I completely understand that. So we don't always have that luxury. But if we sort of keep pushing against our body over and over and over again, and we ignore the needs for rest and slowing down repeatedly over months and years, yes, this is where what we refer to as a burnout can happen pretty commonly and easily. So what I am hoping to draw attention to with this talk is really to say, can we all begin to observe and listen to our bodies more closely and carefully to really understand what are the things that I notice in my body, because it can be really different for different people. So I know for myself, if I really take myself too far, I frequently get headaches or migraines, right? For other people, it might be an upset stomach. It might be old injuries that are flaring up. So the pain volume in old injuries might go up when we're feeling stressed and kind of at that threshold of pushing ourselves too far. And knowing that about our bodies is super helpful, right? Because we can start to pay closer attention, eventually paying attention to these perhaps more subtle ways in which our bodies are giving us indication. Like, what is that even just slight heaviness that we notice in the body that's indicating fatigue and tiredness, right? Is it tension that shows up in our shoulders when it just feels like, oh, it's all starting to get a little too much, right? Is it an energetic shift, an emotional shift that we're starting to notice, like a slight bit of anxiety starting to trickle in that we notice, right? And paying attention, that's where it also opens up choice, and it opens up agency. When we notice that, we might check in and say, yeah, I don't have time and space for an hour-long nap right now, but I have time to sit in my car seat, right, for 2 minutes. Feel that support underneath my body, lean back and give myself this really short pause, honoring the need for a moment of rest, right? I might choose yoga practices that support that even further, engaging with restorative practices and really honoring the body's need for rest and slowing down. And what I've been noticing over and over again, both in myself and other people's experience too, is that slowing down is not easy. It's ironically, we have to make an effort in this attempt of slowing down, right? Like to really make a point and to even be open to the discomfort that can show up around it. Like, what is that little bit of feeling of guilt that trickles in, right? What is the judgment that trickles in? Something is wrong with me. I should have more strength and energy to do this, right? And of course, in the way I'd like us to approach our yoga practice is to not just get rid of the tiredness, right? But to take a much closer look at what's really going on and what's driving this constant need for productivity and activity and achievement. What are the parts in us that perhaps have been undiscovered and unexplored that are sort of behind this constant pushing? And we might find that when we consciously do slow down, that we start to notice, we start to really become more aware of what it is that's rising to the surface in those moments. And to be very gentle with that, to see, oh, yeah, can I be with that too? Can I take a moment and feel that discomfort, that guilt, or that judgment in my body? I'll take another breath. Thanks for listening. I hope there was something of value in there. Always feel free to drop a note in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear how that resonates.